Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to plunge into some fascinating sources and really pull out wisdom that sticks. Today we're going way back, not just decades, but like 6,000 years. We're exploring these timeless ideas about wealth, about prosperity, from George S. Clason's classic, The Richest Man in Babylon. Now, this book was written back in the 1920s, but it's drawing lessons from ancient times that honestly still really define how we should think about money today.
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable. What I love about it is how it uses these simple stories, these parables, right, to explain the basic laws of money. You know, how to get it, how to keep it, and how to make it grow. And the core ideas, they're just as relevant now for your finances as they were for someone living in Babylon way back when. It's kind of amazing how little the fundamentals change.
Exactly. That's why we think it's so powerful. The main message is just so clear. Money isn't scarce. It's actually plentiful for people who understand its simple rules. It even argues that, our collective prosperity as a society really depends on each of us getting our own financial house in order. So that's our mission in this deep dive. We want to pull out these nuggets of knowledge for you, things that can genuinely shift how you look at your finances. Okay, so let's set the scene. Ancient Babylon. History tells us it was like the wealthiest city in the ancient world, just dripping with gold. But here's the thing, even there, you had ordinary folks like Bansir the chariot builder, Kabi the musicians. They were working really hard, but they were constantly broke. Their purses were, well, empty. The book says they felt like they lived in the richest city in all the world, but of it we ourselves have not. They were just weary of being without gold in the midst of plenty. Sound familiar? It kind of does, even now.
It absolutely does. And what's so interesting is when they finally had this realization, they were great craftsmen, right? Knew how to build a chariot, play music, but they admitted they'd never actually sought wealth. They hadn't focused on it as a goal. That was the turning point. It made them go ask Arcad for advice, their old friend who'd somehow become the richest man in the whole city. It really shows that financial know-how, it's a separate skill set you need to develop.
Right. And Arcad's big lesson, the first thing he shared, the thing he learned from Algamish, so simple, almost deceptively so. A part of all I earn is mine to keep. He said you got to set aside consistently, not less than 1/10 of everything you make. But here's the really interesting bit. Arcad noticed that after he started doing this, he somehow wasn't any shorter of funds than before. He still managed, which feels, I don't know, counterintuitive, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. But the book frames it as this sort of universal law. It says, "Unto him who keepeth and spendeth not a certain part of all his earnings shall gold come more easily." It suggests there's a psychological shift. Once you commit to saving that part first, you just adjust. You find ways to live on the rest without feeling totally deprived. It's like you're making space mentally and financially for wealth to actually build up.
But Arcad wasn't perfect from the start.
Oh, no.
He talks about this early tragedy. Yes, he took his first whole year of savings, that 10th he'd put aside, and he gave it to Esmor, a brickmaker. Esmor was supposed to go buy rare jewels to resell, but, well, Esmor got duped, and Arcad lost everything, which led to that fantastic line, "Every fool must learn. Why trust the knowledge of a brickmaker about jewels?" You can just feel the sting of that lesson.
Oh, absolutely. And that mistake was crucial. It taught him and teaches us a vital lesson about advice. Advice is everywhere, it's free, but you have to watch that you take only what is worth having. He really learned the hard way about needing to consult wise men, people who actually know about handling money profitably. Basically, do your homework. Seek out real experts before you risk your hard-earned savings. Don't just trust anyone with a plan.
And these principles Arcad learned, they became so important that even the king, King Sargon, noticed a problem. After finishing all these big public projects, the king saw that the money just seemed to disappear from people's hands. Poverty was spreading again. It wasn't just an individual issue, it was affecting the whole city. So the king asked Arcad, "Can you teach people how to build wealth?" He saw it was crucial for Babylon itself.
Right. And Arcad was completely convinced. He said, that which one man knows can be taught to others. He didn't see it as some secret magic. He believed wealth building was a skill, something anyone could learn. So he laid out his 7 cures for a lean purse, and he made sure to point out he started with nothing special. No advantage, not enjoyed as fully by you. It really drives home that these steps are accessible wherever you're starting from.
Okay, so Arcad's ready to teach. He lays out these practical steps, the 7 cures. And the very first one, number 1, is foundational. Start thy purse to fattening. Meaning, save that 1/10 consistently. No excuses is where it all begins.
And then cure number 2, which, let's be honest, is often where people stumble. Control thy expenditures. Budgeting. The
Yeah.
book even has a student complaining about the slavery of a budget. People still feel that way, right?
Yeah.
That is just about restriction.
Yeah, they do. But Arcad flips that idea completely. He argues a budget isn't meant to enslave you. Its purpose is to help thy purse to fatten. It helps you protect money for your real needs, your necessities, and also for the things you genuinely desire, your worthwhile desires. It guards that money against just, frittering it away on casual wishes. He says it's like a bright light in a dark cave. It shows you where the money's actually going, stops the leaks. Think about it, those little daily coffee subscriptions you forgot. Arcad's saying shine a light on those so you can choose where the money goes.
Exactly. Okay, so summarizing the others quickly. Cure 3. Make thy gold multiply. This is investing 101, basically. Money sitting still. Gold in a purse. Earns nothing, as he puts it. You need to put it to work, whether that's ancient caravans or, modern investments. Make your money generate more money.
Then cure 4. Guard thy treasures from loss. And we saw how Arcad learned that one. It's about being careful, seeking good advice, not chasing crazy returns, managing risk.
Cure 5. Make of thy dwelling a profitable investment. This is about home ownership. The book talks about the confidence it brings, how it can lower living costs over time, and just the simple joy, like eating figs from his own trees, building that equity, that stability.
And number 6, ensure a future income. Planning ahead. For retirement, for emergencies. Interestingly, they even had a kind of early insurance in Babylon, people paying small amounts regularly for a payout later if needed.
Yeah, it's the ancient version of 401ks, pensions, insurance policies, protecting your future self. And finally, cure 7. Increase thy ability to earn. Never stop learning. Never stop improving your skills. Because, as the book says, our thinking can be no wiser than our understanding. Invest in yourself. That's maybe the best investment of all.
Now, back then, a lot of people just looked at Arcad and said, oh, he's just lucky, attributed it all to fickle fate. It's easier sometimes, isn't it, to think success is just luck rather than hard work and discipline.
Well, Arcad had a very different perspective. He argued the goddess of good luck. She doesn't hang out at gambling dens where the odds are stacked against you. No, he said, good luck waits to come to that man who accepts opportunity. It's not random chance. It's about being ready, having those savings, having the knowledge, so when an opportunity pops up, you can actually grab it. Preparation meeting opportunity.
He also pointed a finger at a huge internal roadblock, procrastination. Called it an enemy just waiting to trip you up. He said something really strong. No man can arrive at a full measure of success until he hath completely crushed the spirit of procrastination within him. Wow. Makes you think, how many good intentions, good financial plans just wither because we put them off?
Absolutely. And procrastination, gosh, with all the distractions we have today, it feels like an even bigger battle. Arcad's wisdom here is just so direct. See it as an opponent you have to beat, because every time you delay acting on a sound plan or seizing an opportunity, you're losing potential wealth.
Right. And these lessons, they get driven home again with the 5 laws of gold. These come through the story of Arcad's son, Nomasir. Nomasir, he got his inheritance and basically blew a chunk of it right away. Fell for bad advice, like investing in some scam about a super fast horse. Sounds familiar, right?
Yeah.
If it sounds too good to be true.
He definitely learned the hard way. But he did learn. He eventually came back with double the gold because he finally understood these 5 laws. And they really summarize the core principles. 1, save at least a tenth. 2, put that gold to work, make it earn more. 3, only invest with advice from wise, experienced people. 4, don't venture into stuff you don't understand or that experts don't approve of. Stick to your lane. And 5, avoid those get-rich-quick schemes, impossible earnings, tricksters. Recognize them for what they are.
And Nomasir's story really illustrates that lasting wealth, the kind that brings satisfaction, it comes gradually. It's not instant. It's built on knowledge and persistent purpose. Slow and steady, based on sound principles.
Yeah, building it is one thing. But handling it wisely, especially when others want a piece, that's another challenge. Which brings us to Rodin, the spear maker. He gets this windfall, 50 gold pieces from the king, and suddenly everyone wants a loan, his family, his friends. He's overwhelmed, so he goes to Malthun, the experienced gold lender, for advice.
And Mela tells him this great little story about an ox and an ass, basically illustrating the moral. If you desire to help thy friend, do so in a way that will not bring thy friend's burdens upon thyself. Malthun showed Rodin his system, his token chest, explaining he only lends where he knows the gold is safe and it's going to be used productively, ensuring it can be paid back. His final piece of advice etched right there. Better a little caution than a great regret. So important when emotions and money get mixed up.
Then there's Debussy, the camel trader. His story is incredibly powerful. He became a slave, not captured in war, but because he was drowning in debt. And he has this amazing shift in thinking. He realizes his debts aren't just burdens, they're his enemies. But his creditors, they're actually his friends because they trusted him in the first place. That changes everything.
It really does. And it fuels this plan he creates, which he literally carves onto clay tablets to keep himself accountable. The plan: keep 110th for himself, pay yourself first, live on 7 to 8 tenths, and dedicate 210ths, a full fifth, to systematically paying back his creditors. The simple 107-020 split, it didn't just get him out of slavery. It made him an honorable man and eventually wealthy. And what's amazing is the book includes this modern letter from a professor who used a very similar plan and found, quote, more pleasure in running up such a surplus than there could be in spending it. That feeling of control is powerful.
It's genius, psychologically. By paying himself first, even while in debt, Debussy built self-respect, kept his motivation high. It turned debt repayment from pure sacrifice into, like, a journey of reclaiming his life. That's a deep lesson.
And just one more story on this theme. Sharu Nada, another guy who started as a slave, became rich. His mentor, old Megiddo, gave him advice that sounds almost too simple. Work makes a man a better man.
But Sharonada lived it. He worked diligently selling honey cakes, saving every bit he could, and that hard work earned him his freedom, then a partnership. His former master, Hadan Gula, eventually gets it, realizing, work attracted his many friends, work brought him the honors, and I thought work was fit only for slaves. It just smashes that misconception. Consistent effort, taking pride in your work no matter what it is, that builds character and wealth.
Okay, so all these stories, all these cures and laws, they lead to this final, really potent metaphor: the walls of Babylon. The book describes these massive walls, like 160 feet high, miles long, wide enough for chariots on top, supposedly impregnable. They protected the city for ages. But here's the kicker. Babylon didn't fall because the walls were breached. It fell because the king went out to fight and left the gates open behind him. An internal failure.
Exactly. And the book draws a direct parallel to our financial lives today. It says, in this day, behind the impregnable walls of insurance, savings accounts, and dependable investments, we can guard ourselves against the unexpected tragedies. Those are our modern walls. Your emergency fund, your insurance policies, health, life, disability, your diversified investments. The message couldn't be clearer. We cannot afford to be without adequate protection. Build your financial walls and, crucially, don't leave any gates open through neglect or bad decisions.
So wrapping this all up,
Yeah.
what does this ancient wisdom really mean for you listening right now? It means these Babylonian principles work because they're fundamental. They're timeless. Saving a part of what you earn, controlling your spending, making money work for you, protecting it, investing wisely, ensuring your future, boosting your earning power. These aren't complicated secrets. They were true then. They're true now. And that core idea, a part of all you earn is yours to keep, well, that's the bedrock. It's simple, profound, and something you can start acting on today.
Right. So as we finish up, maybe the provocative thought to leave you with is this. What financial walls are you actively building right now? Are they strong? Are there any open gates? And how consistently are you applying this ancient proven wisdom in your own life, saving first, seeking good advice, avoiding procrastination to really welcome opportunity and build that lasting security?
Thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive into the richest man in Babylon. We really hope these insights help you on your own path to financial well-being.